Erev Tov Chavrim, I'm Stephen Bernoun. You're watching Israeli News Live. A 6.2 magnitude earthquake has struck just off of Honshu Island in Japan. There has been no reports of tsunamis thus far. RT News is the one that has first broke this story here that I caught it on anyway. But anyway, they are saying it struck at 9:43 p.m. this evening. And of course, there was some concerns there because it is relatively close to Fukushima, where their nuclear plant there. So there is a bit of concern regarding that. Another thing I want to share with you guys, and that is a story that we covered here recently on Twitter about a group of buses that have been photographed by Eric Tucker, and Eric has since wrote an article about it because he, as well as others, have caught a lot of flack about the pictures that he took there, claiming that these pictures here are not actually of a, hang on one second here, we'll get you to the right page here. But anyway, claiming that the pictures that are in there are not actually, were not used for the protest there in Austin, Texas. Now, just to share with you that picture there, you can see it here on your screen right here. And we actually covered this because we caught it from Paul Watson of InfoWars. And Paul had also carried this, showing that it was buses that were carrying protesters to a protest rally there in Austin, Texas. Now, later I did ask Eric if he actually saw the people getting in or out of the buses, and he was honest about it. He said no, he did not. And then I got a tweet from a man named Will, and just won't go into the whole name on there, but he actually tweeted to me saying that these buses were actually being used for what is called a tableau conference. And I may be pronouncing that name wrong. I'm thinking more of a French name here. Tableau, by the way, you can look here. I actually sent a question out to them. Tableau is a software company that was hosting a big convention there at the same time that the protests were going on in Austin, Texas as well. And having nothing to do with the protests, at least what's being reported. I did tweet out to Tableau and asked if they could confirm whether or not, in fact, they had chartered over a dozen buses, like a Greyhound bus, or the big charter buses that seat 50 people per bus. I did not get a response as of yet. At least I have not found a response from Tableau on my question. But Will was stating that a friend of his, I did first he just says on there that Tableau was the one that chartered the buses. So I asked Will if he was a part of this conference. He said no, it was a friend of his, but I still could not get a confirmation for a fact that Tableau had indeed chartered the buses. He did refer me to go on their website to the section there about their traveling events. I do see in there where they speak about buses to and from the hotels, and as well as taxis, etc. It seems to imply more, though, not as a chartered bus, but as maybe like the city bus system that they have there. But again, maybe Tableau really did do that, and I wanted to correct that on our end here to say that yes, maybe Tableau actually did indeed charter these buses. Now, let me go back though to Eric. Eric also posted later, I strongly value the truth. There's a pretty good case those buses were for a conference by Tableau. And this is what he put on there. Also to Fox 7 in Austin, Fox also had implied that it had gone kind of, pretty much viral, I guess, on social media, that these buses were used for the actual busing people in for the protest. Now, then I got a little bit curious because I didn't get Tableau to actually respond to me. And I also began to wonder, with no one being able to say for sure that Tableau actually did indeed charter these buses. I looked at the names on the buses, etc., and couldn't really get an answer there. But then I got to thinking to myself, all right, if Tableau actually were the ones that chartered the buses, and Soros has been, accused of being very much involved in funding protests throughout America, is there any connection between Tableau and George Soros? Well, oddly enough, there is. You have several different websites on there. Figures anti-protesters. Well, this is another one here. Figures anti-Trump protesters were bussed into Austin fake protest is another article that was being shown there. Again, they were using Eric's photos there. But let me just show to you the one that I found, though, that kind of made me still a little bit iffy on this whole issue. Soros gains with Tableau, but takes a dive with Actuate. George Soros is actually an investor in the very company where this convention is going on at there in Austin, Texas. Now, he's not, he doesn't own a huge percentage of the stocks in the company, but he still owns a fairly good share of these stocks here. I believe it's almost 1% or half of 1%. I forget exactly what it is. But as you can see here, he does have a pretty hefty investment in the company there. Yes, a little 0.04% allocation of the company has gained over 30% since investing. Wow. Does that mean he gained 30% more of the company itself? I don't know. But nonetheless, I just thought it was kind of odd. George Soros, who's been clearly accused by many, saying that they have the facts showing that he has been involved in the different riots and protests that are going on throughout the country, is also involved with Tableau, the very software company there, having a conference in Austin. Now, Will did text one thing too that I thought was a little bit odd when he said that the buses were being used for a quote-unquote night out. Where in the world are all these buses taking these people for a night out at? Could it be the protest itself? Well, I don't really know. So because we can't say yay or nay one way or the other, I will stand corrected. It could be that the buses were used by the Tableau group. It could be that they were chartered by them to get them back and forth to their hotels. But Will did say they were chartered for a night out. That was from his friend that was attending the conference. But no one seems to tell us where the night out actually was. And of course, George Soros is a heavy investor in this particular company. Interesting? Who knows? I'm Stephen Ben-Nun with Israeli News Live. Shalom.